Welcome back to the Pat Burns Arena for the final day of the CPSHA playoffs, co-hosted by Stanstead College and Bishop's College School. This morning's game will be the consolation final to determine third place in the league, as we have Rothesay wearing their blue uniforms and UCC wearing white. Today's starting goaltenders are Cesar De La Santina for the Riverhawks and Finley Smith for the Blues, as we are set to get underway here. As Smith and Naka will take the draw. Naka will win that one back to his defenseman. Here's Burley moving it up, but that is picked off but pushed ahead by Naka. Here comes Naka across the blue line. He stood up at the blue line, and now the Riverhawks able to get out as this puck gets to Smith, but turned over in the neutral zone to Naka. He'll get that back to Jang. Jang up the wall, through some feet, and that will go all the way back behind the Riverhawks goal line as that gets touched to the wall. And moved ahead to Spurrell. Spurrell will get it ahead, but out of the reach of Smith. That'll go off the stick of Smith on the clearing attempt by Rodriguez and go out of play for our first stoppage of the hockey game. So this faceoff will come inside the Blues' end to the left of goaltender Smith. As this faceoff's won by RNS, so let's go back to Beatty, to Pelche at the point, to the slot for Beatty's shot. That just goes wide to the glove side of Smith as this puck sits on top of the net, but now played back on top of the net again as they'll hack it off as this gets around to McClement. McClement off the wall and then put deep where McMullen will find it behind the net. Beatty sending it up top to McClement. McClement putting one on goal. That's blocked. Rebound lying there and cleared by Scott. But Pelche holding it at the blue line as Moores to the front of the net, but that's picked off as UCC tries to get away, but that pass picked off by McClement. He'll look for Moores on the far side, but that's out of his reach as this puck gets in deep. Scott now with it. Up the wall. That's picked off again. But now skated out by the Blues. This is Long with it. Long will dump that one in and go get it. As Pelche back for the Riverhawks as he gets away. Here comes Pelche with a head full of steam through the neutral zone, across the blue line. He drives wide. Shot. That goes wide. As Gorman keeps it on the far side. And now that's rimmed in by Romanen. Puck put in deep by Cadiz, all the way around for Gorman, who will keep it in at the blue line as he pushes that puck to the far corner. Puck collected now by Yu as he gets away from his forechecker and will move it up to Crombeen. Crombeen now getting middle ice. He'll move it to the wall for List. List, nice move. Shot on goal. Blocker save by Della Santina. Rebound on goal, and Della Santina will snag that one for the whistle. Nice move there by List to get that shot off, but a good reaction by the goaltender. His second action of the weekend. As his faceoff will come to his right. That faceoff's won by UCC. Back to Burley at the point. Burley put on net. That's a pad save by Della Santina. Smith will put it back to Dunlap, but he's flattened there. And that puck will stay in the corner as that puck is brought out front, but knocked off a stick. As Burley will put another one to the net. That goes wide. Then it gets around for Jang. Jang now putting that one in deep for Shuttleworth. Shuttleworth up to Jang. Jang across, on goal by Burley, and that's swallowed up by the goaltender Della Santina. Good pressure here by the Blues as they play their final game of the weekend, having lost in the semifinals to Stanstead last night. As Naka will come out to take the draw. Naka wins that one back to Lewis. Lewis around to Lawless. Lawless now up the wall. Cross ice to Moores. Here comes Moores with it. He loses it, so he'll regather and dump it in as Beatty chases after it. Beatty will get there first. He'll give it back to Lawless at the point. Lawless down the wall to Beatty. Back up to Lawless. Walking, shooting. That's deflected. Good save there by Smith as now Rodriguez has the puck in front of the UCC goal as he'll move it ahead to Shuttleworth. Shuttleworth will cut to the middle. He still has it, but that's taken away from him. And now McMullen away with it. He'll send it up to Beatty, but that's off his stick. And now Bick will collect. Bick up to Shuttleworth. Shuttleworth will put that puck in deep as Della Santina out to play it. He'll move it to Lewis. Lewis touching it up ahead to Moores. Back to Lewis. Over to Lawless. And Lawless will get it to the middle to McMullen, who will chip that one by his defender and in deep. As Yu will go back to retrieve. Yu coming out from the net. He'll move it into the middle for Zhang. Here comes Zhang with it. Zhang moving in. Hit hard there by McClement, but keeps the puck. He'll flip that one on goal, and that's gloved by Della Santina. 13 minutes remaining here in this first period. Shots now 5-2 for the Blues. As we get a face-off to the left of the goaltender. With Zhang set to take the draw for the team from Toronto, Ontario. That faceoff's won by Zhang. Back to the point. It's given over to Yu. Yu through the seam to Bick. Shot that is blocked. As that puck gets flipped to center ice, where Romanen will get it. Romanen chipping that one into the RNS zone as McFadden chases after it. But Long first to it. He'll put it into the middle, but that is Out of reach as Long still battles for it. He'll try to give it back to Zhang, but that's off his stick. As Zhang lays out Romanen on the half wall. But Romanen back still on the forecheck, but now it's Zhang with the puck. Zhang stopping, reversing, going the other way to Yu. Yu through the middle to Bick, but that's picked off by Pelche as that puck's given to Cadiz, who will send that in. Here's Yu back for it. Yu pressured there by Romanen, but he's able to get to his D partner as that puck is turned out over now on the wall. But now Yu sending it ahead. No touch there by either team, so that faceoff will come back in the UCC end. If you're just joining us this weekend, we're playing with hybrid icing, no change, and offensive zone choosing the side of the ice for the ensuing faceoff on icings. So Smith elects to have this faceoff come to the right of the goaltender, Smith. As he lines up to take the draw against Zhang. Zhang now kicked out of the circle. So Bick will come in. Faceoff won by Bick, but it's Spurrell hopping through and grabbing the puck. Spurrell moving it up to Gorman. Gorman on net. That hit something and came down. And now finally cleared by Zhang. So Gorman will throw that puck into the UCC zone as some Blues are able to change. As that puck gets sent up to Bick, that will get deflected on goal. Dunlap now looking for his partner Gorman. But now Robinson giving it back to Gorman and across to Dunlap. Here's Dunlap with it. Dunlap back over to Gorman. As he cuts through the middle. He'll kick it out to Spurrell. Spurrell, nice move to get around his defender. To Gorman in front. He tries to find Smith. But that pass doesn't connect. So UCC will skate in with it. This is Zhang. Zhang rims that one in as Della Santina out to play it. He'll slide it over to Dunlap, who flips it ahead to Robinson. That's cut off on the wall. Now pushed forward by Smith as he gives it to Spurrell, who has some speed. Here's Spurrell. 1-on-2. He'll drive wide. Spurrell still with it now. He curls back, waiting for his team to come off a change. But that's turned over, and List will get it now for UCC. List pushed back in his zone, but the elusive skater continues on. He's now across the red line as he looks for Avery off the entry, but that's broken up. Here's Lawless back to Lewis. Here's Lewis. He'll circle back. Lewis now over to Lawless. Lawless up the middle to Beatty. That's off his stick, but Beatty regathers. Here comes Beatty in. Shot saved by Smith. Rebound saved by Smith. Good sequence there by the Blues goaltender as we approach the 10-minute mark remaining in this first period. So this faceoff will come to the goaltender's left. Good effort there by Beatty to beat his defender and create a good scoring chance. This faceoff's won by Moores. This will go to Lewis at the point. He gives it back down to Beatty. Beatty on net. Another save by Smith, and he'll cover up for another whistle. So we'll reset here just 5 seconds after the previous draw. As that faceoff is won by UCC and pounded to the blue line where it gets by Lewis. And now a race for it, Shuttleworth and Lawless. Lawless will get there first and punch that one back in the neutral zone as this puck gets back to Rodriguez. They'll go cross ice to Scott. Ahead to Shuttleworth, who is able to muscle that one into the RNS end as Naka in a hard on the forecheck. But it's RNS coming away with it. Here comes Moores. And McMullen a little ahead of the play, so that will go for offside. We'll drop the puck here just outside the UCC zone in front of the fan section as Naka in to take the draw. Naka will win that one back as this goes D to D to Yu. Yu ahead to Naka. Here he comes across the line. Shot. That goes wide to the blocker side of Della Santina. As that puck is now below cage. Here's Shuttleworth to the front. Rebound. Brady can't find it. A good chance there for the Blues as this puck is pushed to the half wall, and here comes RNS with it. That puck now turned over and given to Shuttleworth. Here's Shuttleworth with it off the wing. He gets closed off by Pelche as Smith retrieves in the corner. Here comes Smith with it as he dishes it over to Alves Pereira. Alves Pereira now over to McClement to the net. And that is broken up by the goaltender Smith as McClement looking for the stick of Alves Pereira crashing the net. But a good job there by the goaltender to break that one up. As both teams will send some fresh legs over the boards. This will be Moores and Zhang on the draw. This draws one forward by Moores, but cut off by Zhang as this puck gets to the wall where it's chopped ahead by Zhang. As here comes Moores off the wall. Here comes Moores still in, but that's broken up. That puck gets back to the point for McClement. McClement will push. Shot on goal. Save. Rebound. Moores unable to pull the trigger there. But here's Romanen with it on the wall. He gets bumped. Romanen back with it now. He gives it back to Moores. Moores will go to the point where McClement will keep it in over to Pelche. Pelche looking for a stick. Tip, scores. That's Beatty in front of the net. Great job, great puck movement there by the Riverhawks to go low to high, D to D, and then Pelche with a really great look to find Beatty's stick. Left alone in front of the net, who gets that one by the goaltender Smith as the Riverhawks will take a early 1-0 lead. Bliss sent over the boards by Coach Dan Noble to respond to this one as it's McMullen who's dumping it into the UCC zone and Scott onto it first. Scott back to Rodriguez, up to Crombeen. The pressure there by McFadden as Crombeen will now skate with it. Here he comes through the neutral zone, cutting inside, getting to the blue line still with it. As he puts that one in deep for List. List out front to Avery. Avery chopping that one towards net, but no one home as Dunlap intercepts and will get ahead. He gets that one to Cole, but that's through his feet as Rodriguez will try to go off glass. But now he's able to get it ahead to Avery. Avery stood up at the line there by Dunlap. As now Cole ahead to McMullen. But he's closed off, but Cole regaining it in the corner. List taking out of his stick, and now he comes away with it. List ahead to Crombeen. That's just off his stick into the neutral zone as Gorman will give it to Alves Pereira, who puts it in deep. Scott now over to Rodriguez. Rodriguez up to Crombeen, again off his stick, as this puck rolls to Lewis, who flips it over to Lawless. Up the middle to Spurrell. Here's Spurrell in. He is jumbled up there. He shoots, though, and scores. Kind of a odd sequence there as that puck was jumbling around, but Spurrell able to find it and rip it high to the blocker side on Smith. Smith maybe not expecting that one as RNS will double their lead. Now 2-0 for the Riverhawks. As Coach Dan Noble tries to rally his troops. But this faceoff is controlled by the Blues as it gets put into the RNS zone, but it's Alves Pereira to retrieve. He tries to go through the middle, but that's broken up as Lawless now able to chop it ahead to Moores. He'll give it to Alves Pereira over to Spurrell on the far side. That stood up there by Yu. Yu will give it to Naka, who drops it back to Yu as Yu will flip that one to Della Santina. He'll play it over to Lawless. Lawless now stretching it out, but that's cut off nicely there by the defenseman Bylard. As this puck gets into the RNS and they score. Good job there by the Blues to counterattack as this will be Jack Brady with the goal. Wanted to call out the nice play there by Bylard to cut off that stretch pass and start that transition for the Blues as Brady and company answer and cut this RNS lead back to 1 with 6:32 left here in this first period. Shots now 9-7 for the Riverhawks. And this faceoff's won by Zhang. And now Burley with it. Burley chipping that one ahead, and the turnover at the line as RNS looks to respond. Here's Smith with it. Here tries to curl and shoot, but that is off a leg into the UCC corner. Is still fighting for it. Here's Cadiz to the slot for Robinson, but he can't get it. We'll have our first penalty of the game here. As this will be Burley, I believe, headed to the box for the cross check. So the Riverhawks will get their first power play of the evening. And they choose to have this faceoff come to the right of the goaltender, Smith. It'll be Smith, Robinson, Cadiz, Pelche, and McClement out there to start for Coach Jeff Lewis's squad. As this faceoff's won by Smith, back to Pelche. Pelche over to Smith. Back to Pelche. Back over to Smith, who drops it back to Pelche at the point. Pelche and McClement switch. Pelche now wheeling around with it. Giving back that puck up to Gavin Smith. He'll shoot. That's stopped by Smith. And now cleared to the line, but kept in by Pelche. Over to McClement. Back to Pelche at the point. He'll give it over to Smith. Smith now down to Cadiz. He has that puck knocked off his stick, but he'll regain, shovel up the wall, where Smith will kick it back down to Cadiz. Cadiz up to Pelche at the point. Back to Smith. Smith shooting. That's blocked by Scott, but kept in by Smith. Back down to Robinson. He looks for Cadiz in front, but that's broken up as Smith will flip it to McClement at the point. Back to Smith on the half wall. That is jumbled up now, but that is recovered by Cadiz. He'll put one into the pad of Smith. And finally, that's turned over into the slot and cleared by the Blues. So Della Santina looking to stretch this one out. He'll give it to Pelche at the far blue line. But that is jumbled and now played to Romanen on the far side. Romanen looking for McClement, but he's a little late getting to the line, so this puck will come out. As that puck is reset back to Alvis Pereira, who will let his teammates change. He's pursued by Brady, as Alvis Pereira will move it to Pelche. Pelche now over to Alvis Pereira, but that's off his stick as he's pressured. And now that puck's turned over to Brady. Up at to Naka. Naka will push that one back and drain some more clock as he gives that back to you. 10 seconds left now in the penalty to Burley. As that puck is sent all the way down, and Dunlap will collect. Back to 5-on-5 hockey here. As this puck is sent to Beatty, who will deflect that one in. But Romanen first to it. As that puck gets past him to the wall for Long. But now just outside the blue line to Dunlap. He'll flip that back in as that gets played ahead by UCC. Here's Bick with it now. Bick shooting. That's right into the breadbasket of Della Santina. And we will get a pause here with 3:46 remaining in the opening frame. Shots now 11-8 for the Riverhawks. As this faceoff will come to the left of the goaltender Della Santina with Zhang set to take the draw. Draw one by the Riverhawks as that puck gets moved to Cole, who flips it ahead to McMullen. McMullen looking for McFadden crashing the net, but that's broken up as Scott puts it around the wall to Long. They'll get that to Zhang. Zhang flipping that one ahead to Bick. That's deflected in, so no icing. So Bick first to it. He's closed off there by Gorman. But bad bounce off the end boards, and Dunlap there to save the day as he moves the puck out. Here's Dunlap. He kicks it out to Cole. Cole looking for Dunlap crashing the net. He gets it behind Smith. And that puck will stay out with some help from the Blues defense. Creative play there by Dunlap to try and bank that one in off the goaltender, but Smith able to hold his ice and keep that one out. So this faceoff will come to his left with McFadden set to take the offensive zone draw here. puck's won by McFadden. Back to Lewis at the point. He'll rim that around. Where Jang is first to it for UCC. He's able to get it ahead to Avery, and Avery will put it in the neutral zone where Lewis will retrieve and flip that puck in on Smith. Smith will play that to Scott, who will try to flip it out, but that's kept in now by the Riverhawks as that puck is sent to Crombie at the blue line. He'll play it back to Scott. Scott going through the middle. He'll give it up to List. Here comes List as he drives wide, but he'll cut back. List now looking. He'll get it to Scott at the point. Scott on goal. That's tipped just wide by Crombie as that puck goes behind the Riverhawks net. As List with it now, pressured by Lewis. List over to Avery, up to Scott, back down to Avery. Looking for Scott again, but that's turned over, and here comes Lawless. Lawless will rim that one in and chase after it. As his team changes, Lawless able to keep that puck in, but turned over to List. Lawless still on it, and the Riverhawks here will take a penalty, so the Blues will go to the power play in hopes of tying this one up. This will be Lawless for the slash as he chopped down pretty hard on the stick of List. So this faceoff will come back into the Riverhawks end to the right of goaltender Della Santina. 2:08 remaining in this period. So should a successful RNS kill happen, there will only be 8 seconds remaining. As this faceoff is won by the Blues to List, who will give it back up top to Bick. Bick up to you. You to Crombie. Crombie up to you. You shooting. That's off the blocker of Della Santina and out of play. As we will redo here. Here's Zhang with it. Zhang winning that one again. Back to Bick at the point. Bick over to you. You looking for Bick, but that's broken up, and that will get past the UCC power play and get out of the zone as you back to retrieve, but we'll head back to 4-on-4 here as I believe that will be Crombie getting called for interference as he was trying to hold Spurrell up as Spurrell was pursuing that loose puck. So we'll play 4-on-4 for the next minute 33. As this faceoff will come to the right of goaltender Smith. As that faceoff's won to Jang. Jang with it now as he skates ahead. He'll drop it back to Bick. Bick back up to Jang. As he'll rim that one around. That gets past Della Santina. And Scott to collect. Scott across to Jang. As that gets rimmed around again for Bick. Bick now with it in the corner. That's knocked off his stick. And he's able to steal it back, though. Bick down to Zhang. Zhang shooting. Pad save there by Della Santina. Rebound coming in front, but cleared by Spurrell. That puck now being brought out of the RNS end by Bick as they look to reset their attack. That's flipped to Zhang, who goes through the middle, but that's picked off. Here's a chance for Moores. Moores on the backhand. That's saved by Smith. Bick now over to Jang. Jang now, as we enter the last minute of play here in this first period. Jang to Bick. Bick skating away from his man as Scott gets up to Jang, who will give it to Zhang, but that is off his stick and to McClement. McClement now giving it to Alves Pereira, back to McClement. McClement now dishing in for Alves Pereira. He'll make a nice move, but that's broken up. Here's Alves Pereira in front. That's a save by Smith. And here comes UCC with a chance potentially as Scott skates away with it. Scott dropping now to Rodriguez. Rodriguez to net. That's blocked. Here's Brady with it. He'll give it to Naka. Naka, that's off his stick and flipped out. And here comes the Riverhawks with a chance, but goaltender Smith out to rim it all the way around. Good play by the UCC goaltender to get out of his crease and prevent a last-second opportunity. But that'll do it for the first period. Shots 2-1, score 2-1 Riverhawks. Shots 15-10, and we will be back after a flood. We are back here for period number 2 of this consolation game between RNS and UCC. Puck drop just a few moments away here for this second period. 2-1 RNS heading into the frame as they are out shooting the Blues 15-10. As this faceoff is won by UCC as they will have 15 seconds left to kill on their minor penalty. As Dunlap sets it up behind the goal, he'll give it to Smith, who will give it across to Gorman. Gorman to Smith as he cuts back. Smith up to Dunlap, shooting. That's off the leg of Naka and out of play. Of note, this consolation game will only be 3 17-minute periods instead of the standard 20 minutes. The finals will be 3 20s. As Cadiz lines up to take the draw. For the Riverhawks, he'll win that one back to Smith, who will give it to Dunlap coming down the wall as that puck is chopped ahead to Shuttleworth, but kept in by Smith. Dunlap now rimming that one around. Jang first to it. He'll try to get by Cadiz, but that's kept in. Jang now giving it across to Scott. Scott now cross ice. And here comes the Blues with some numbers as Naka shoots. That goes over top of the goal. As Dunlap will move it ahead to Robinson. Robinson coming in. He'll turn that over. And UCC looking to transition that. Once again, it's turned over in neutral zone. And now here comes Smith with it for the Riverhawks. He'll drop it. But Cadiz steps on the puck and falls. As that's in the feet of Scott or Naka. And he'll play that in the neutral zone. Brady will dump that in. Shuttleworth will chase after. But that's reversed by Gorman to Dunlap. Here comes Dunlap with it now. He'll dance in. Dunlap driving wide. Now circling the net. Dunlap still with it. As he comes to the top of the zone. Dunlap over to Beatty. Beatty in. Shot saved by Smith. Rebound coming out. Back to Beatty, who will give that puck down the wall to Romanen. Romanen now cycling it around for Moores. Moores now up to Lawless. Over to Lewis, who will put it in deep for Beatty behind the goal. Beatty now fending off Zhang, but that's kept in again. As that puck sent to the point, but picked off there by Bick. Bick now with it. He'll lose it. That stays with UCC as Yu puts it in, and Della Santina out to stop it. Della Santina trying to go up the wall, but that's turned over to Zhang. He'll try to put one out front, but that's cut off. As that puck is flipped to the line by Moores, but kept in by Yu. Yu will chop it ahead, but right to RNS, so Lawless will have it behind their cage. Lawless stepping out, trying to move it. That's turned over as Yu pinches down. That's still in the Riverhawks end, but now here comes Beatty, one of the goal scorers today with it. Beatty will skate in, and that will be offside. So that faceoff will come back into the neutral zone just outside the Blues' end. As McFadden and List will take the draw for their respective clubs. Faceoff is won, but controlled by UCC. As this is Crombie on the wall. That puck is pulled out by Rodriguez, and he'll circle back. Rodriguez looking ahead for List and Avery, but that misses everyone and will head down the ice, but no icing as McClement back for a steal. He'll give it to Pelche. Pelche swinging that through the middle, but no one home. So Rodriguez will touch up for icing, and that faceoff will come back into the RNS end. They elect to have this faceoff come to the left of Della Santina. As List lines up to take the draw. That draw is won back by McFadden, but to the line where Avery will keep it in. Avery will put that to net, but sticked away by Della Santina as Pelche looking to get away, but he's tied up by Crombie. And here's List with it. List looking for Avery. That's defended well. That puck will stay in, but now here come the Riverhawks with some steam as Pelche over the line. Pelche working one-on-one. He's knocked off the puck. He might have the wraparound, but that is saved by Smith. And now whistle as the net was knocked off by the goaltender getting across. Nice save there by Smith as Peltier had a look there. So this faceoff will come to his right with 13:39 remaining in this middle period. Shots now 16-12 in favor of the Riverhawks. As that faceoff is possessed by the Blues as Jang reverses to Scott. Scott now moving it ahead to Crombeen. Crombeen on the wall, but kept in by the Riverhawks. But pushed to List, who will give it back to Jang as they'll try to get out again. Puck now to Scott. Now he's across the red line. Scott making a nice move, but he's taken down, and a penalty coming here to RNS's McClement. The big defenseman Scott with a nice move to beat his defender, so McClement having to resort to desperate measures and haul him down as the Blues will get their second power play opportunity of the game. Their first one obviously cut short. This will be Naka, Brady, Avery, Scott, and Jang out there for Coach Dan Noble's team. As that draw is sent all the way down the ice. Creative face-if play there by Alves Pereira. As pressured behind the goal. Bit of a miscommunication there as the goaltender's stick ends up coming out of his hands. As Spurrell providing the down ice pressure. So UCC will have to waste more time on this breakout as that puck is sent rink wide to Naka. Naka now with it as he sets up in the offensive zone. Over to Scott, to Jang. Jang will switch with Scott. And he'll give that puck to Avery. Back up to Jang. Over to Scott, one-timer pad save by Della Santina as Gorman able to collect the rebound and ice it. As Smith will rim it around for Scott, who will give it back to Jang as the Blues will break out once more as that pass is up to Avery. Avery now entering. Avery cutting back, but he's closed off there quickly by Alves Pereira. And he'll get that pass to Scott. Here's Scott with it. Scott shooting. That hits a leg. Rebound in front and cleared by the Riverhawks. But now chopped ahead to Alves Pereira. He's one-on-one with Scott. Alves Pereira going through the legs, but Scott able to get a stick on it. Is Alves Pereira now pinning that puck in the corner with about 30 seconds left here in the Blues power play. As UCC will get ahead. Here's Crombeen with it. He's by himself as his teammates change. Lawless now rimming that puck around, but kept in at the line. List with it on the half wall, but stolen by Moores and sent the length of the ice. Smith will dump it off to you as he evades the forecheck. And now UCC with numbers coming back the other way as he'll give it to List. List to you in front as that is stuffed into the feet of Della Santina as we return to 5-on-5 action here with 11:10 remaining in the period. This faceoff will come to the left of Della Santina. UCC with an extra forward out there as they reset from their power play and now finally able to send a defenseman out there. But here comes RNS with it as they give it to Robinson, who will dish it to Smith. Smith shooting, that's blocked by Bylard. As Robinson with it behind the net, that's off a stick, and that will get out of the zone. McClement, who returning after that penalty, will retrieve and get up the wall, but no one's home there, so UCC will get it back. UCC looking for a play, but that gets turned over to Peltier in the neutral zone as Robinson now takes it from him. Robinson into the corner now. He's bumped. But Pelche still with it. He'll move it up to McClement. McClement looking. Back post. And that doesn't connect. But that puck will be sent back to McClement at the point. As he looks for a shooting lane, he'll give it over to Pelche. Pelche shooting. That's blocked by Bick. And away he comes. That puck is sent, just in front of Bick as he would have been in alone. Bick now closed off in the corner as this puck is broken out by the Riverhawks and sent rink wide to Cadiz. Here's Cadiz with it. Cadiz shooting. That's gloved up by Smith as Pelche crashes the net hard. And we will have some nonsense. Pelche crashing the net, gave the goaltender Smith a good bump, so Smith's teammates coming to hit the goaltender's defense. But it appears to be just Zhang headed off for knocking the RNS player's helmet off. Doesn't look like there will be a penalty to Pelche for ramming into the goaltender Smith. Coach Noble not happy about that call. But the Blues will go to the penalty kill here. See if they can kill this one off and stay in this one. As this puck gets rimmed around and kept in by Dunlap. Dunlap to Gorman. Gorman back to Dunlap. Dunlap shooting. That goes wide. As this puck gets back to Gorman at the point. Gorman over to Dunlap again. Dunlap back post. And that hops over the stick of Spurrell. And now to the line, to Gorman. Brady broke his stick, so even more shorthanded will the Blues be. But that puck is picked off and now shot on goal by Dunlap. But a good save there by Smith to absorb that one. A key whistle as Brady able to come off and get some more sticks out there for the Blues as Bick and Shuttleworth now out there. This faceoff will come to the left of the goaltender. As Cadiz looks to take it for the Riverhawks. He'll win that to Romanen, who will move it back to Dunlap. To Gorman. Back to Dunlap. Back to Gorman. Gorman shooting. Good save by Smith. As Spurrell was hunting in front. Ref really trying to set the tone here. As Spurrell will head off for a penalty. So we're all evened up here at 4-on-4. I think the referee really trying to set the tone here on how much nonsense he's going to tolerate after whistles. So we'll play 4-on-4 here for the next minute 17. As that face-off is scrambled. Still in the feet of, and now possessed by RNS, as this is McMullen. McMullen will give it to the wall to Dunlap. Here comes Dunlap in. Dunlap had to watch his teammate McFadden as he had to come off the ice as his helmet broke. But McFadden, unaware of where Dunlap was, skated offside. So, well, this faceoff will come in front of the RNS bench. As this faceoff went forward by Alvester, but he gets taken down as that puck will go back to Scott. Scott reversing it to Jang. Jang will stop behind the net. Come out the other side. Jang over to Scott as he will skate ahead. Scott now into the RNS zone. He'll put it deep for Avery, but he's pushed off the puck. As here's Avery with it. Avery looking to go over the shoulder of De La Santina, but good save there by the RNS goaltender. But still in the RNS, and the zip puck gets back to Scott. Scott over to Crombeen. Back to Scott on goal. Scores! Will Scott putting one on goal. And that might have hit the RNS defenseman, fooling De La Santina, as we're knotted up here at 2. Avery was bringing an RNS defender towards the net, and I think that hit the RNS defender's arm and then sailed into the net. So we're all tied up here at 2. 8:25 left here in the second period. Shots now 21-15 for RNS, as RNS's early 2-goal lead now gone. Icing beat out by RNS, so Smith having to play it. As the Blues will step out, and they're about to head to the power play as Zhang will come back onto the ice, but here's Bicken with it. On the power play, now are the Blues, as RNS looks to kill this one, as this puck gets worked to Moores, who will touch it ahead to Smith. Smith in one-on-one on you. Smith now working wide. Smith now controlling with it, but that is kicked away and into the corner, but Smith will give it back and now put all the way around to McClement, to Moores, who will touch it back to Peltier, who will rim it back down again to Moores. Moores now wasting some time as he looks to go in front, but that's picked off by List, as we will return to 5-on-5 hockey here as the penalty to Spurrell expires. And here comes Bick across the line. Bick stopping up, shoveling to you. Getting pressure at the line, as that's stolen there by McFadden. Here come the Riverhawks 3-on-1. McFadden to Peltier. Peltier across. Scores! That's Will Cole with the goal. As McFadden did a great job of stripping you at the offensive blue line. And then they had numbers coming the other way, at the defensive blue line rather. And McFadden pushing the pace to create a 3-on-1 opportunity. He dropped it back to Peltier. Peltier back to McFadden, who slid it across to Cole for the goal. And RNS responds just a minute 24 after UCC goal to regain their lead. But it'll be possessed by UCC off the following faceoff, as Burley will send it rink wide for Shuttleworth, but that's Dunlap breaking that up, and here come RNS again with numbers. Dunlap to McMullen out front. That's broken up. McMullen now in the corner. He'll try to get it back to Dunlap, but that's picked off and out of the zone by Shuttleworth. Dunlap regaining control, sending it in deep where Finley will be out to play it. Finley over to Bylard. Bylard up to Brady, back to Bylard. That's picked off on the wall. McFadden towards net, but that goes wide. McMullen with it now, up to Dunlap. Back to McMullen as he'll give it to Alvis Pereira in the slot. That's shoveled to net. Rebound now cleared by the Blues, as Brady will get it ahead, but it's now Burley with it. Burley will put that one in deep. Dunlap to retrieve. Dunlap over to Gorman. Gorman to the wall for McMullen, but he's closed off there by Shuttleworth. Puck still on the wall, but retrieved by Naka, who will turn that over to Dunlap. Dunlap to the wall for Spurrell, who'll give it out to the neutral zone for Jang. Jang will flip that one back into the RNS end as Dunlap skates away with it. Dunlap getting up ice. He'll chip that ahead for Alvis Pereira, who will put that around for Moores. Moores now with it in the corner, as that puck is sent to Spurrell. Spurrell looking out front, but no one home. As this will be Crombeen flipping that one ahead, but cut off by Lawless, who will put that one back up the boards. List with it now. Over to Jang. Jang back to List. Let's see if he can get some speed here. Here comes List in the neutral zone. He's flying. He gets around Lewis. List in, shot, rebound. And that is cleared. Here is Scott with it now in his own end. He flips it over to Avery. Avery over to Jang. Jang up to List, but that's out of his reach. And this puck will get into the RNS end and chopped ahead by Lawless, but turned over there to Crombeen. List now behind the net working with it. He falls, but he'll get it up to Rodriguez. Rodriguez coming in. Shot. That's blocked. Avery retrieving in the corner. Avery now climbing, gaining high ice. Shooting. That's blocked and cleared by Lawless, who is feeling the effects of that one, as this puck will go down for icing. So Lawless shaken up, but he'll have to stay out there. As UCC is able to send some fresh legs over the boards as we have 4:20 left in this second period. Zhang on the draw for the Blues. Zhang will win this one to the wall, where it's flipped in deep by Rodriguez, but here's Lawless looking to clear, but he'll reverse it over to Lewis. Lewis, he has Alves Pereira through the middle. Alves Pereira with Moores 2-on-1. Alves Pereira to Moores, scores! Nice finish there by Moores off the pass from Alves Pereira. But what started it all is a great stretch pass from defenseman Dax Lewis. As RNS now regains their 2-goal lead. As we enter the final few minutes here of the second period. Seemed like UCC might have RNS on the ropes there with after that icing call and some tired legs, but RNS able to persevere and get another one on the board. As this play will go for offside and a face-off coming in front of the RNS bench. Here's Smith on the draw. Smith will win that back to McClement, who will send it rink wide for Pelche. Pelche will flip that one in as Bylard to retrieve. He'll send reverse up the wall. That's kept in and thrown to net. That goes wide. Here's Smith putting it low for Burley. Burley now. He has that puck stripped from him as this puck gets sent to net, but broken up nicely there by the Blues defender. Good pressure here by RNS as Cadiz working. Robinson with it. He's knocked off the puck there by Bylard. But that'll get to Bick at the line. Bick sending that one back on his own goal, but sticked away by Smith. Bick now ahead to Zhang. He can't get through as Pelche will retrieve, and Pelche will send that up and touch ahead to Smith. Here's Smith with a break. Smith shooting, but Scott able to get back and disrupt that one. As Scott with it now. He tries to reverse, but that's sent it to Cadiz. Cadiz behind the net. Cadiz trying to get it out front. That's shot put on goal by Smith, and another shot by Cadiz. That goes wide. Peltier down with it. He'll work it to Smith. Smith out front. That hits a broken stick and will sail through the slot as that puck gets to Bick. Bick now one-on-one on McClement. Bick shooting. That goes above the goal as Peltier ahead with it. He'll find Moores on a breakaway. Moores in. Shot saved by Smith. But now we will have a penalty called. This will be, I believe this is Jang for a slash. So UCC will head back to the penalty kill with 2:31 remaining in the period. This faceoff will come to Smith's right as Moores will take the draw. Moores just sprung on a breakaway a few seconds ago. Unable to convert. Already has a goal in this period, so hungry for more as that puck gets one back to Gorman at the point. Gorman over to Dunlap. Dunlap back to Gorman. Gorman to Dunlap. Shooting. Rebound. Covered up by Smith. Good save there by the goaltender. Off the dangerous Dunlap. As this faceoff will come to the goaltender's left with only 12 seconds coming off the clock. Moores will win this faceoff back to Dunlap. We'll give it over to Gorman. Gorman to Dunlap. Dunlap now. Down. Back up to Dunlap. Over to Gorman. Down to Moores. Down to the goal line. Back up to Moores on the half wall. Moores to Gorman at the point. Gorman to Dunlap. Dunlap curls, shoots. That's deflected high over top of the net. As Moores will retrieve. He'll rim that around to the far side for Dunlap to Gorman. Gorman back to Dunlap. Over to Moores. Moores, looking through the seam to Dunlap. A good stick there by the UCC defender to deflect that one out of play. As we have 1:09 left in the RNS power play. With this faceoff staying in the RNS zone to the left of Smith. As McFadden will line up to take this draw. McFadden winning that one. Back to Lewis. Lewis to Lawless. Back to Lewis. Down to goal line for McMullen. Back up to Lewis. Over to Lawless. Lawless to McFadden. McFadden down to Cole. Over to Lawless. Over to Lewis. Back to Lawless. A lot of passing here. Over to Lewis with a shot. That's blocked. Still possessed by the Riverhawks. It's McFadden putting it up for Lawless at the point. Back to McFadden on the flank. That pass gets broken up, but maintained by McFadden. Over to Lewis. Back up to McFadden. McFadden shooting. Rebound. Still lying there and finally cleared by Scott, but that doesn't get us. Kept in by Lewis. Over to Cole. Cole. Cross ice to McFadden, who is now playing the point. He'll switch with Lewis, who walks the blue line into the middle. Lewis over to Lawless as they exchange once more. Lawless on goal. That's blocked. As 2-1, we return to 5-on-5 with 30 seconds left here in the frame. As List looks to escape, but he turns it over to Alvis Pereira. Alvis Pereira off the post. Pelche to keep that one in. As Alvis Pereira now with it in the corner. He'll get that back up to Pelche. Pelche pressured, but able to flip it into the corner for Cole. Cole now has that puck stolen by Scott, who flips it to the line, but kicked ahead by Pelche. As here come the Blues for one final attack, but the clock will strike 0, and that will end the second period. 4-2 Riverhawks as we head into the intermission. Shots now 28-17 for School from Rothesay, New Brunswick. We'll be back after the flood. And we're back for third period action here at the Pat Burns Arena in today's consolation final between RNS and UCC. RNS up 4-2 as we enter this final frame as that puck gets flipped in deep. And McClement moving it to Pelche to Alvis Pereira to try to get it up. But that's kept in. Here comes Brady with a shot. That goes wide. UCC looking to inch their way back into this one as this puck gets sent around to Spurrell on the far wall. Spurrell will chip this into the middle, but that's picked off by Naka. Now to you, who will put it in deep. De La Santina out to stop that one as he moves it to Pelche. Pelche now getting ahead with speed. RNS has some numbers now. Pelche in, shooting. Good save there by Smith as that puck gets shot to the front and now cleared by you. Here comes UCC now off the rush. This is Bick with it. Bick shooting. That goes wide to the blocker side of De La Santina. As this puck is sent to Burley, who will put it off glass and past the RNS goaltender as Zhang is able to keep this puck in, push it in deep for Bick. Bick working, chipping it to the wall where it's kept in, but now RNS will move it cross ice to Cadiz. Here's Cadiz in. Cadiz trying to work on Rodriguez, but that's put into the corner where it'll be retrieved and flipped ahead to Avery. Avery now ahead to Bick. Bick will rim that one in as De La Santina able to come out and stop that one. As this is Smith with it. Smith skating ahead. He'll find Cadiz on the wing. Cadiz enters the zone. He'll flip it to Robinson, but that puck is knocked off his stick as UCC skates ahead with it now. It's put into the feet of List, but that goes through his legs to Dunlap, who moves it ahead into the neutral zone as Yu collects. Yu over to Scott. Here comes Scott as he flips that puck in past the RNS goal line. As that puck's moved to the wall, but bump back to Dunlap, who will give it to Cadiz. He'll flip it in, but he did not get to the red line, so this will be icing. So that faceoff will come back into the RNS end. Some fresh troops out there for Dan Noble's squad as this faceoff will come to the left of the goaltender Della Santina, with Naka set to take the draw. Linesman telling both players on the wing to back up as Naka's kicked out and Brady now in to take the draw. Brady wins that to Naka on the wing as that puck gets sent up to Scott. Scott will put that one in deep, where Shuttleworth will grab it. Shuttleworth turns that one over as that gets kept on the wall by Brady, but back to Dunlap. Dunlap now up to Cadiz. Cadiz flipping that one into the neutral zone, where Scott will get it. That's off the skate of Robinson, so unable to advance as Scott with it again. Scott will flip it off the glove of an RNS player and now into center, where UCC will look to push ahead, but Alvis Pereira finds it. He pushes it ahead to Romanen. Here comes Romanen off the wing. Romanen looking for Beatty, but that is ahead of him as Beatty chips this one off glass into the netting and out of play. So face off to the left of goaltender Smith. As Alves Pereira on the draw for the Riverhawks. This try is won by UCC. That'll go to Jang. Jang reversing this one up the wall, but no one home. So that puck will be kept in by Alvis Pereira, who swings one towards net, but that's wide. Here's Romanen with it. Romanen will put it behind the goal, but that's taken by Rodriguez as he looks to get away. Rodriguez coming through the neutral zone. That's picked up by Lawless, and here comes Romanen as he chips it by. Here's Romanen in. He dishes to Beatty. Beatty shot from a sharp angle. That's saved by Smith. As Zhang with it now. He'll look to break out, but that's kept in by Lawless and pushed in back into the corner, where Zhang will have some time now to break this one out as he gives it to Rodriguez, who gives it into the middle for Bick. Here comes Bick down the wing. Bick behind the net now. Bick circling, finding Zhang out front. Zhang turns, shoots. That misses low to the blocker side of Della Santina as Rodriguez will collect. Give it over to Burley, but that shot's blocked. Here's Avery now cycling it to Rodriguez, who gets stood up there by Alvis Pereira. Now this puck out and into the UCCN. Well, Burley will get it. Burley now, as RNS changes, Burley with some ice escape. Burley will shoot. That goes wide to the blocker side as this puck gets rimmed back around, where Burley will keep it in. Burley now sending it around for Crombeen. Crombeen now coming off the wall. Crombeen going to the point where you will keep it in. Back to Crombeen. Down the wall here as it's now taken by RNS and now finally out as you will re-enter the zone, but that's off a shin pad and out. So McMullen will race ahead, but he's back-checked nicely there. That puck sent the length of the ice. Race for it now. You will beat it out, so no icing. Della Santina goes up the wall to McClement. To Crombeen. That's cross ice. But now battle at the UCC or at the RNS blue line, where RNS will give it to McClement and over to McMullen. McMullen now chipping it into the middle, but no one home as that gets all the way back to you. You will give it to Jang. Jang up ahead. That puck's given to List now. List shooting. That's saved by Santina. As that puck gets into the corner in a battle for it now as List comes away with it, but Spurrell on him. List getting it to Shuttleworth. Shuttleworth still within the corner. Shuttleworth out front to List. That's off his stick. As Alves Pereira now getting it ahead. And Spurrell rimming that one in to the far side to where Jang will get it for UCC. Jang ahead. That's off the skate of Gorman and back into the RNS end. Gorman will put it over to Dunlap, who will rim it around to Spurrell. Spurrell now getting that one ahead to Alvis Pereira. He falls. And now Moores will have to cycle back. As that's given to Dunlap. Over to Gorman. Back to Dunlap. That's ahead of him. And Spurrell unable to get it, so it'll be Scott now with it. Scott around the net. He'll give it to Jang. He gets away from his man. And Jang now ahead, but that's too far for his forward as that puck will be sent back down to Scott. Scott ahead to Naka. Naka to Brady. That gets away from him, so now Dunlap with it. Dunlap cuts up ice as he gets going. Dunlap to Alvis Pereira, who is just able to get that one into the zone, but Zhang with it. Now for UCC, he'll get it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez with a nice move. Rodriguez moving it ahead to Bick, who will tip that one in. And he'll chase after it. Here's Zhang with it now below the goal line. Zhang cutting back. Zhang still protecting. Zhang now up to Rodriguez. Rodriguez at the point. Rodriguez shooting. That goes, misses wide to the glove side. There's a race for it now, but Burley back to it. Burley has Cadiz on him, and he'll just put that one up the wall, but that's picked off. Here's a chance on the slot for Robinson. Big save by Smith. As Bick puts it down for Burley. Burley reverses it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes up the wall to List, but now we have a delayed offside, so some time now for the Blues to attack. Here's Bick with it now. Bick driving wide. He gets past his man. Bick looking for Zhang out front, but he fans on the pass as Cadiz gets to it first, and he'll push it to the wall. But here comes Zhang off the wall, well defended by Lawless. And now Robinson with the puck. Here comes Dax Lewis jumping up as he'll flip it in. As RNS gets to it first, they try to put one out front, but that's deflected as Lewis holds the line and gets that one deep, where Scott will pick it up. Scott ahead to Avery. That's off his stick as McClement circles and gives it to Robinson. Up ahead to Beatty, but he's stopped at the line there by List. So that puck will go back to Scott, who will give it across to you, and that's tipped into the RNS bench, where we will get a stoppage with 8:36 remaining in this final frame. Shots now 31-18 for the Riverhawks. As this faceoff is controlled by the Blues. That's chipped ahead by Smith, but then put out again by McClement to Smith, who will work it ahead. And we will have this one blown down for offside. So this faceoff will come right in front of Coach Jeff Lewis and the RNS bench as Naka comes out to take the draw for UCC. And we will do this again as Moores will get relegated from the face-off circle. So Romanen, who has played more defense than forward this weekend, comes in to take the draw. See how his face-off skills are. He'll actually push that one ahead to Moores, but that is controlled by UCC as they look to attack, and Shuttleworth unable to stretch. And that will go offside again. So we will redo just on the other face-off dot closer to the fan section. As this face-off is won by the Riverhawks and sent back to Pelche. Pelche ahead to Beatty. Beatty will send it to the middle for Moores. Here comes Moores, 1-on-2. Moores trying to work in, but that's knocked away by Jang. In the corner now, as Naka's first to it, and he's able to push it ahead. And now out of the zone, where McClement will find it for RNS. He sends that one up the wall, but no one home, as Burley looks to the middle for Naka, who tips that one in. And Shuttleworth getting to it. Shuttleworth trying to get to Brady out front, but not strong enough to get there. So Pelche now able to flip that one out of the zone. And McClement now jumping up. McClement entering the zone. Shot. That's blocked by Jang. McClement with still on it. He gives it to Romanen. That pass to the point. Picked off there, and now regrouped by RNS. Here comes Gorman. That's off a stick. And now Cole with it. Cole will get it. He puts a shot in. Rebound. Another shoulder save there by Smith. now put in front, and no one home. So good save there by goaltender Smith as RNS looks for more here as McMullen comes in. That's broken up there and put into the neutral zone by the UCC defender, but Gorman with it. He gets it ahead to McMullen, but that will be Cole who's ahead of the play, and that will go for offside. 6:54 left in this final period. Can the Blues mount a comeback here as we approach the end of this one? Shots now 32-18 for the Riverhawks. As Bick will line up to take the draw. Bick losing that one, and that will go back to Dunlap over to Gorman. Gorman will put that one in deep. As Rodriguez on it first for UCC. Rodriguez reverses it to Yu. Here comes Yu. He tries to go through the middle, but that's picked off by Cole. But a good stick there to break that one up as now UCC goes across Riverhawks blue line. As this is Avery on that rebound. Here's Bick at the side of the net with it. He'll go into the corner. He looks out front for Avery, but that's picked off by Gorman. As Gorman will get it ahead to McFadden. And here come the Riverhawks as he gives it to McMullen to McFadden. McFadden will get it to the net, and that's kicked away to the corner by Smith. Here's Cole with it now. He'll cycle it back down to McMullen. But he's squeezed off there by Yu, so Bick will come in and take the puck. Here comes Bick with it now. Bick is jammed in the neutral zone there as Spurrell will come across the line. Spurrell risks one on net. That goes high to the blocker side of Smith, but kept in by Lawless. Still in the UCC end, but that gets chipped out where Lawless will punch it back down. As Yu back on it. Yu will reverse that puck to Scott, and we will have some penalties for each team here as it will be Yu and Moores heading to the box for offsetting minors. We will play 5-on-5 here. As this faceoff comes back in the UCC end to the right of goaltender Smith. Alves Pereira out there to take the draw for the Riverhawks. That draws one forward by Alves Pereira. He tries to put one to net, but that's broken up. As Lewis comes down, he tries to put that one on net, but that goes off a stick and is cleared. Here comes Crombie with it now for UCC as he'll flip that one in. With List on it first for UCC. He can't win that battle, and that puck gets moved up to McFadden. McFadden going cross ice to Lewis, who will chip it ahead for Spurrell, but well defended there by Burley. That puck still staying in the UCC end, but now put out by Scott, as that's tipped ahead by Bylard. List on the forecheck. Bylard now picking it up. He'll drop that to List in the corner. Up to Scott. Over to Burley. Burley on net. That's blocked. Puck gets back to Scott at the point. He tries to make a move. He misses. And now here come the Riverhawks, 3-on-2. Here's Alves Pereira with it. Alves Pereira off the skate of Burley and into the corner. As Crombie pins that puck on the wall. He'll push that ahead to Scott, who skates ahead with it. Scott will rim that one in, and that's stopped behind the net by Della Santina. Della Santina stretching that out to Robinson. But we'll have some more penalties to hand out here as now Burley and Spurrell heading to the box for offsetting penalties. As this game gets a little chippy towards the end. UCC now a little thin on the blue line as now they have two defenders sitting in the penalty box. But it'll be Jang and Rodriguez on the back end to start this shift. As this draw is won by the Riverhawks and one to Peltier. Peltier will rim this one around as that gets hops over the stick of the goaltender and into the corner. But here's Jang with it now. Jang stopping behind the goal. Now stepping out. As he pushes the pace, he'll kick it out. As that shot's put on goal by Rodriguez, but that goes wide. Now Naka, the only one back, as he'll put that one up the wall. As McClement jumps up, that puck is stopped by the ref. And now RNS will have to regroup. And here's Peltier with it as that goes off a shin pad. Peltier back with it again. He'll send it over to McClement. McClement and through the middle to Smith. Here comes Smith as he kicks it up to Cadiz. That's ahead of him. But kept in. And Robinson now has the puck in the slot. He'll work it ahead. And no shot there as Cadiz wasn't able to get strong wood on it. As that puck is sent the length of the ice. That'll go wide of the RNS net, but no icing. As this is picked up by Peltier and moved ahead, but that's off the stick of Smith. And here comes the Blues. Avery in. That pass is picked off. Avery still with it now. As that puck gets worked back to McClement. McClement now up to Smith. Smith cross to Romanen. Romanen through his legs as he drives in. Romanen to the front of the net for Smith, but broken up, and now Scott with it. Here's Scott. Cross ice. To Avery. Avery in. Shot. Pad save. Rebound. Scores. Good job there by Avery to create a rebound off his initial shot. And a big rebound kicked out there by the goaltender Della Santina as right to Bick, who was crashing the net, as Bick deposits that one. And we have a one-goal game here with 2:56 left in this third period. Shots now 33-19 for the Riverhawks, so the Blues making good on their chances here. The first set of offsetting penalties now over as you return to the ice. Let's see if UCC can make one more push here as that faceoff's won by the Blues and sent back to Scott. Up to List on the far side, but he's closed off. That puck gets shipped by him and into the neutral zone where Scott will collect. Scott now flipping that one off the linesman right to List. List now working below the goal line. He'll turn back. Give that puck to Crombeen, who will go low to high to Scott. Here's Scott to you. That one goes off a stick and out of play. So we will line up to the right of Della Santina as I believe the Riverhawks might be getting a penalty here. I believe this is the case. They're just sorting out who will be going to the box. As Coach Jeff Lewis comes over to talk to the head official. We'll see what the aftermath is here. So I believe this will be Romanen who actually getting kicked out of this game for a misconduct. We'll see if this is 2 and a 10 or just 10. But it looks like we'll be playing 5-on-5. So just a 10-minute misconduct for Romanen. He won't put his team shorthanded. But now the goal empty for the Blues, so it's 6-on-5. As this puck is won back to the point for Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to get some early action here. She tries to go to Bick, but that puck is sent out by Moores. Rodriguez back to get it. He'll put that one out of the zone as this puck is now offside. As Moores put one to net, that would not have counted due to the lay it offside. As Rodriguez gets it to Zhang. Zhang will rim that one around, but Della Santina out. Will he go for it? He tries to, but that's kept in by the Blues. Zhang back to you. You back down to Zhang. That puck is intercepted and sent down the ice by Spurrell, but in a race for it, Alvis Pereira will beat Rodriguez there, so no icing. As he tries to end the goal, and dangerous stick handling there by you in front of the empty cage as he gets that one up to Rodriguez. Still lots of time here for the Blues. Minute 40 left in the final frame as this puck is brought across the line by Naka. Naka now pinned in the corner. As Zhang comes in to help. Zhang now moves that puck up to Rodriguez, over to you. You Down to Bick. Bick able just to poke that one ahead to Avery. Avery back up to Bick. He'll switch with you. He'll give that puck to you, but you were not ready for it as that goes down to Avery in the corner. Zhang in to help. He'll push that one to the slot as that one gets pushed out. Race for it now as Bick is pressured by Spurrell. Bick now able to get away from Spurrell, and he'll get up ice as we enter the last minute of play here as that gets rimmed around. De La Santina looking to clear. That's turned over in front. That shot is saved. And now a flip down the ice. That'll go wide, but Beatty first to it. So he'll beat that one out. But he gets closed off by Bick. And now that's turned over in the neutral zone, but that gets through the RNS defender's feet as that gets pushed in. McClement now just having to flip that one out and able to do so as that goes to Avery. He'll switch sides to you and not in time, so that will go over for offside. 28 seconds left in this one as this faceoff will take place opposite the Riverhawks bench in the neutral zone. So we'll see. All right, that's still with the timeout here, but not electing to use it as UCC sets up. This face-off one to Crombeen. Crombeen now trying to put that in, but that hits his own teammate and will put the play offside. As we'll do this all again, but 7 precious seconds coming off the clock. We'll reset here as they back some players out as this faceoff is won and sent to the far side to Zhang. Zhang now putting this one in as he's pushed hard into the RNS bench as this puck will get on the wall. RNS doing what they can to pin this one. Puck still loose, steamed by the official. It's still loose. Into the feet. 4-3. It gets to the point. One last shot. Here's you shooting. Save by De La Santina. And that'll do it for this one as RNS will come away victorious in earning that third place spot in the CPSHA. UCC's CPSHA season coming to an end here as we will wait for the player of the game as well as player of the tournament awards for each team. CPSHA final will be back here at the Pat Burns Arena in about half an hour. And that will feature Bishop's College School against Stanstead. Both teams lining up now at center ice to exchange pleasantries. We will also have goaltender of the tournament, defenseman of the tournament, and forward of the tournament to hand out. So those awards definitely in play. As some good contenders for both teams. I will make my predictions for UCC, I will guess number 88, Colton Bick. And for Rothesay, I would say number 19, Drew Moores. Player of the tournament for each team, I predict Will Scott. And for Rothesay, number 7, Jesse Dunlap. Those are my guests. One for one here. as Colton Bick wins that one. That player of the game for Upper Canada College. He had a very solid effort. And this player of the game will go to Dylan Pelche of the RNS Riverhawks. Well earned by him, making a couple of really very nice plays today. As we now move to the tournament player for each team. This player of the tournament for Upper Canada College will go to number 11, Gavin Yu, the defenseman, providing a very steady presence on the UCC back end. And player of the tournament for RNS goes to number 81, Alves Pereira. He's been solid all tournament as well, providing some key goals here for the Riverhawks. And that's Jesse Dunlap winning defenseman of the tournament, as voted on by the CPSHA coaches. So congratulations to him. He's been awesome. And now the captains for RNS coming forward to receive their consolation prize. But that will do it for the consolation final here at the Pat Burns Arena. Join us at 12:30 for the final.